So my name is Sara Iannone. I'm a class of 2017 Notre Dame and SAT alum, and I'm going to help moderate this chat this evening. So I know there are a lot of questions submitted, so we'll try to get through all of them. But before I hand it over to Bean, I thought I'd just explain a little bit about my experience when I was a trainer not too long ago. So I started in 2014. I shadowed when I was a freshman at Notre Dame. During that time, we had to shadow the other trainers. And then by the end of the semester, we had to take some tests. We had to do a taping test and a modality test and other tests. And then thankfully, Bean hired me in 2014. When I was a trainer too, I had a lot of highs and lows. During that time, we transitioned from Adidas to Under Armour, so there are a lot of interesting changes there. I got to go to the Fiesta Bowl, which was really cool experience. And then some lows. My senior year is the year where we only won 4 football games and we lost 8 games, so it was a really interesting experience. But I'm so thankful to Bean for hiring me, and it was such an impactful program. Not on just my career, but making lifelong friends too throughout the process. So thank you so much, Bean, for hiring me way back when. But Bean, if you want to just kick it off, give some updates on everything that's going on in the training program, the GOOG, what's going on campus, I'll hand it over to you.
All right. Well, thank you, Sara. I appreciate that. Appreciate the kind words, and really want to thank you for being an active participant here in our little venue tonight. And then also want to thank quickly the Monogram Club for making this possible and really being instrumental in us getting this kicked off, not only for tonight, but with our upcoming reunion that's long overdue, I might add, but we've got it penciled in for the April 21st and 22nd. And hopefully, tonight can be kind of a springboard into that. And for those of you who are going to be able to attend the reunion, are obviously looking forward to seeing everybody. But, just between tonight and the reunion, we hope to kind of reconnect with, a lot of former student athletic trainers, maybe some other people that are just kind of interested in athletic training at Notre Dame. But we're really looking forward to the reunion and, just kind of sharing some more experiences and sharing how Notre Dame sports medicine has evolved and continues to evolve in this ever-changing climate that we're living in these days. So one thing I do just quickly want to give you an update that we will have the finalized and definitive itinerary and schedule for the weekend of the reunion coming out very soon. Obviously, just like normal athletic schedules, they have a tendency to change rather quickly and suddenly. So we've had to make a few little tweaks and adjustments to make everything work. But I think it's shaping up to be a really nice weekend for everybody that can attend and get to see kind of how things have evolved and how some things have stayed the same too. So we're looking forward to that. To start with, it's really so nice to see so many people that have joined in on this call tonight. And I don't know what our final numbers were. I know earlier we were up around 50 or 60 people that had been able to say they were going to log on and be part of this. And it's heartwarming to see so many people that no matter when they graduated from Notre Dame, they still have, I hope, a special place in their heart for the Notre Dame Sports Medicine Department and the Student Athletic Trainer program that they came through. And, it's, like I said, I hope it's a reflection of some of the memories that you have for when you think back to your time at Notre Dame. And hopefully the Notre Dame Sports Medicine and the Notre Dame Student Athletic Training program, was instrumental in creating some of those memories, whether it be professionally learning a few things behind the scenes that, you didn't learn in the class, but you learned in the training room. And, or if it's just, the bonds and the friendships that you've made through our training program that are lifelong friends from now on. So I hope that's the case in everyone's opinion on this situation. So, like I said, and like Sara said, we know we've got a lot of questions that people have submitted, and we want to get to all of them. I would like to give just kind of a little brief overview of kind of where our student athletic trainer program and what our sports medicine department is looking like these days. Um, for some of you, it's probably not too different, but I know there's plenty of people on board here tonight that have not been around for quite a while, and it is exponentially different. So um, let me start with just our staff. So our certified athletic training staff at Notre Dame, which used to be minuscule in getting the job done. We now have 18 certified athletic trainers and physical therapists that serve on our staff to meet the daily needs of the student athletes here at Notre Dame. So I know when I first got to Notre Dame, we had 7. So we've obviously made some significant strides in providing quality staff to take care of the student athletes at Notre Dame. Um, the University Student Health Center is still a vital part of what we do. We have 3 outstanding physicians that work at the health center and act as our primary care doctors for the student athletes, and their commitment and their time they spend with us on a daily basis to help us and help the student athletes is instrumental in what we do. So um, obviously South Bend Orthopedics is still a big part of what we do. That's some very deep ties there, obviously, and with their orthopedic surgeons that act as our team physicians and all the consultants there, they really kind of complete the foundation of our program and our department. And last but surely not least, obviously you've heard me say this many times. We simply could not do our job to the level that we wanted to complete it at and have set the standards for. And we couldn't do that without the assistance of all of our student athletic trainers. And it's been that way since day one, since I've been here, and I'm sure it was that way long before I got here. And I'm hopeful that it'll be that way long after I'm gone. So, but like I said, it's an instrumental group of kids that really contribute in many ways that the people don't know about. But obviously, it's instrumental in our ability to serve the student athletes like we'd like to. So, um, the department itself, um, our business of sports medicine has evolved just like everything else in the society these days, and we'll probably get to some questions that kind of touch on that subject a little deeper. But one of the things that's kind of really evolved here at Notre Dame is everybody's not kind of their own separate entity anymore. So what the model is here now is what's called a sports performance program or a sports performance team. And so that's made up not only of the sports medicine department, but also of the strength conditioning department, the nutrition department, and the sports psychology department. So there's a tremendous amount of collaboration going on, communications, working together, really, trying to find every advantage we can to enhance the student athlete's experience and get them pointed down the road so they can be as successful as they can in their student and in their athletic careers here at Notre Dame. So, like I said, it's we've kind of evolved into the sports performance model, and it's still fairly early in the inception of that. But we've seen some really good things take place already, and there's a lot more to come that's going to be even more beneficial to the student athletes down the road. So, but like I said, and like Sara said, there's a lot of questions, and I think several of them will kind of dovetail into some of these things that we just talked about briefly, and we'll be able to expand on it a little bit more um, with some of the things I talked about here. So, with that, I'm going to turn it back over to Sara, and she can start with the first questions, and I will do my very best to answer them to the best of my ability.
Awesome. So I'll summarize. There are a couple questions on how the SAT program today is structured. How many hours a week are they still working? Is it still, at least when I was there, assisting with football practices, sometimes volleyball games, soccer games, cross-country meets, things like that? Is it still structured similarly? Is it totally different? Like, what is a kind of day in the life of an SAT look like today?
It looks very similar. It has not changed a whole lot from the basic description you just gave there, Sarah. Um, let me back up just a second here. In our student athletic training staff, currently we have 18 student athletic trainers who are on what's called paid positions, and those are work study paid positions that create our group of 18 students that help us on a daily basis with the health care of the student athletes. So, um, we started kind of with the ground level of that is like what you spoke of earlier, the introductory program or the shadowing program. What we'll do is the vetting process has come a long way. It used to be you'd read an article, read a little ad in the Observer, and show up at the Joyce Center for a meeting, and get your T-shirt and find out what time you work the next day. And we've evolved a little bit from that process. We've gotten a little bit more sophisticated in our vetting and trying to find the right people. So what we do is each applicant or each student who wants to be involved has to fill out an application. From that, I'll do an interview with each individual. That kind of creates a pool of students who are, vying for one of the 18 paid positions. So we spend the months of September through February putting together this pool of applicants. Normally we keep it around 15 to 16, and we found that if we start to get a little too big or too many from that, it kind of waters down the experience, and it doesn't give the kids a chance to really experience what the expectations will be. Doesn't give them the chance to show what they can do. Doesn't give us the opportunity to see them. So 15 is what we kind of start with, and so from February to May, then those 15 students are our core focus, and we're evaluating not just myself, but our current student athletic trainers, our other staff people, and we spend a lot of time vetting these people and trying to find out who's going to be the best fit for us, who's going to be able to handle the job, and is it right for them. Is it something that they want to pursue? The time commitment is a huge factor, as it always has been. We've tried to pare that back a little bit, because there's a lot of things that people like to do, and I've always told them, I said, listen, this doesn't have to be the only extracurricular activity you do at Notre Dame, but it's got to be high on your priority list, just because of what we expect from a time commitment standpoint. And hopefully the rewards are well worth it, but they need to know that going in. So, and then by the end of May, we'll make some really hard decisions and select the 6 that we think are the best to move on to our student paid position, and so they'll replace the exiting 6 seniors who are just leaving. So time commitment wise, the fall is obviously our biggest time consumer with football, and we do still cover most all of the other sports in some capacity, even maybe it was just on game day. But we've gotten 3 or 4 main facilities now, so it's kind of hard to keep all of them staffed with students, but we try and spread them around a little bit and help as much as they can wherever they're needed. But they still probably average around 15, 16 hours a week in the fall when things are really hopping. The spring, it's a little bit less. Usually it's probably around 12 to 13 hours a week. So, which, it's a big commitment. And one of the things that I'm most proud of, though, as our group is, our kids are able to balance that work and school and free time, and still maintain their outstanding grades. And we're always, our cumulative GPA for the support staff students each year is exceptionally high. We're always in the 3.7, 3.8 range, and it's just such a testament to the determination and the ability to manage your time to make all that work. So, and that's what we're looking for. That's what we're vetting. We're trying to find these people that can do that, and it's not for everybody, and it's a hard road to pull sometimes. So, but we're really fortunate to find really good people and kind of keep carrying on our tradition of finding really good student athletic trainers.
So interesting to hear. So kind of a two-part question. It's a fun one from I think Carrie, class of 99. What is your
Okay.
favorite what is your favorite memory of the Independence Bowl, the sleet storm in the middle of the game, or the streaker across the field? And then his real question is, how has your job changed given the health and technological advancements and innovation over the last few years?
Well, first off, in reference to the Independence Bowl, I've tried to wipe that memory completely from my mind. So it was a little bit less than one of the most desirable bowl games we've ever attended. So we'll just kind of leave it at that. There was not a lot of good things came out of that weekend. So um, back to the second part of the question, what's kind of been the most, the innovation part, things have changed so much in sports medicine. And it's not just in the athletic training room. And it starts with our doctors and, the abilities they have to um, fix things, and how we've evolved into being, more aggressive with certain surgeries and those type of things that allow the student athletes to get back quicker than they've have been able to in the past, and that's what they want. That's all. It's what the student athlete wants. When can I get back? When can I get back? And so there's a lot of uh, peripheral noise that goes along with the job anymore. And but we hold true to what our mission is with our staff and our doctors. And but we've been really blessed with having good physicians, and the technology that we're afforded at Notre Dame really allows us to um, to do the best we can to make those student athletes' dreams a reality as much as we can. So, but there's been so many advances in sports medicine that they're almost too numerous to even to mention all of them. But the diagnostic purposes, or the diagnostic methods we have, the treatment methods, the surgical methods, and the rehabilitation methods have come light years from when we first started back many years ago.
And then a quick question from Lewis here too. So kind of on that technology note, and trying not to, again, break confidentiality, but does the team utilize diagnostic ultrasound in real time, or in different treatments? That's
We do. That's one of the diagnostic ultrasounds really become a viable component of what we do. All three of our university physicians that work there on campus are well trained, and we have three of those diagnostic ultrasounds on campus. And it's a viable tool for diagnosing the severity of injuries. And once you've got a really good grasp of the severity of an injury, that can give you some direction on how aggressive you need to treat it, or how conservative you feel like you can be. So no, the diagnostic ultrasound is really, as a relatively new diagnostic tool, has been phenomenal, and a definite game changer in how we handle the evaluation and diagnostic process for injuries.
Another kind of sports med related question from Maria, class of 2014. How has the Damar Hamlin experience impacted the world of sports medicine today? Did that have any impact at Notre Dame or in other universities or professional sports teams?
It's brought a lot more light to the subject. It's brought, I guess, in light of the circumstances and the unfortunateness of it, and obviously the happy ending of it, but it's brought more attention to what we do on a daily basis, and that's prepare for those type of situations. And I think in our profession, we look at those procedures that we have to be aware of, and we look at review those procedures every year. It's just part of what we do. It's just part of the routine. And then you have a situation like this that comes along, and now it is such public awareness is so much more keen. it doesn't really change a whole lot. I mean, we feel like we're pretty prepared for any of those circumstances. In some respects, it's brought a favorable light on, the athletic trainers and the emergency medical people who are at every game and prepared for those situations. So, obviously, when something like that does happen, you do pause for a moment and say, all right, let's, make sure that, what we're prepared for now is adequate and it's where we need to be. And we obviously did the same thing. You do a little self-analysis, and we've made no changes. We feel really strongly about our preparedness to handle those type of things. I would hope that if someone somewhere else, did the same thing, and they saw a weakness in their link, that they would address it and make the appropriate changes to be more prepared for that. So, I think from the ground level, the people who deal with it and be prepared for it on a daily basis, it didn't really change a whole lot of what we do. But like I said, it brought light to the situation, and there's now more of an awareness to it, and the public's view of those type of situations hopefully will be a little bit more aware of what the people that take care of it can do.
Awesome. Yeah, I remember having to go through those trainings and cutting through the padding and doing all of that. I remember that in August. So
Yeah.
yeah. Pivoting a little bit. So not too long ago, we have a new football coach, Coach Freeman, after about 10 years, I think, with Coach Kelly. So have there been any changes with that, or what is it like transitioning between head coaches? And I know there are other, sports too, like we just got a new basketball coach, and it seems like there are other head coaching changes, but what's the transition been like, or is it just exactly the same?
Well, it's I guess I benefit from the fact that I've been able to live through about 6 of these coaching transitions, which in itself is, I guess, an accomplishment if you think about it. So, um, but there's always a little transition period. The fortunate thing for us in this current situation is, we had a good working relationship with Coach Freeman um, before he got the head job. So it was not like there was that all new newness and all new uncertainty of, what to expect from each other. And, that's always a big transition when you have an outside coach coming in from that has no idea what your capabilities are, or what Notre Dame's about, and how Notre Dame operates. And so this one was an easy transition. It's been great. Coach Freeman has been outstanding. He is the ultimate player coach, and his sincere desire to be part of these kids' lives in every way, shape, or form um, is really outstanding. And it's nice to see in this environment that we currently live in college athletics. It's I can say with a fair degree of certainty, I don't think it's that way everywhere. Um, but again, it's building that trust, between the coach and the medical staff. And like I said, this one was an easier transition because there was a lot of familiarity when that took place. So when it's not that case, it can be a little bit more of a challenge, and can be rather trying at times. But if everything goes well, then that trust is earned and the trust is gained. And every coach that I've had the opportunity to work with, usually that first year was a little rough and a little shaky and a little uncomfortable. But once you're past that, those coaches have all been exceptionally grateful for what we do, very appreciative of what we do, very welcoming to their staff as part of their group. So, there's always some that are better than others, but that's part of the whole experience. So, but like I said, this has been really, really great, and has probably been as smooth a road as we've had in the past.
That's awesome to hear. That has been a good transition and a good experience so far. I have a different question, a fun one. So, I think I do. I think other people do often see you in the fall in football games on NBC, just making a quick appearance in the background, and it's always fun to see you there. I always point at the TV like, "Oh, there's Bean." But I believe it was last season when Jack Cohen was the quarterback. You kind of had a bigger TV moment and were able to pop his finger uh, back in place. So, could you talk about that and that experience?
Well, I mean, I think we have social media to thank for most of that. Personally, it's part of the job. It's what you do every day, and you don't really think about it, regardless of the environment or the situation you're in. If you're paying attention, you're locked into what you're doing. You just do your job, and that's all I did that day. And obviously, it garnered some attention, and I appreciate the lots of texts that I did receive for that. Some of them not quite as much as the others, but it was good. It was good, and it was rewarding that things worked out as well as it did. So, um, but like I said, it was just kind of part of the day, and social media blew it up a little more than I care to receive attention for. But it is what it is. Welcome to the world we live in. So,
Bean, I don't even know if you're on social media, are you?
no, no, I'm really not very much.
Yeah, I'm not, and that's not surprising to me at all. So, another question from Tom, class of 91. Do you have some favorite memories of the student trainers or, any things that stand out that you have over the years?
You know, that's I don't think I would have anywhere near the time to share all those experiences. It's the most, I think, probably just kind of the underlying answer to that question is, I've been blessed to really be around some really, really outstanding kids, and it's fun and this is it's part of the thing that really I enjoy getting up and going to work every day for, is to work with these kids. And I can remember seeing a young Sara Iannone as a freshman and trying to decide if she's worth being one of our paid positions. And you go, I don't know, she's a little timid here or there, but you see them grow, and every year they grow a little bit more, and you give them a little bit more responsibility, and they tackle it head on and conquer it, and each year it gets a little bit better. And to see people grow from their freshman year to their senior year, and then beyond, what they end up doing after they leave Notre Dame is is really special. And I think I can say that for probably 90% of the kids that I've had the really good opportunity to work with over these years. So there's no way I could single out a couple instances or favorites or anything like that. But that's the underlying best answer I can give. But it's just to see everybody from where they started as a 18-year-old high school kid to the position they are now, or the lawyer they are now, or and how they got there, and hopefully it was, we were a little bit a part of that maturation process.
Definitely. I think so. I definitely think so. So some questions about the training room, like what does it look like today? Have there been any updates? And then question 2 about the reunion, and if we come visit, can we see the training room? So if you can get an update on what the training room looks like today.
Well, that was we've got on the itinerary some tour facilities, and we had to make a little last minute change because originally we had worked in the Goog, where the football facility is going to be one of those stops, but it's not going to work out from a timing standpoint because we're doing pretty much everything in preparation for the blue gold game in the stadium. So, or I'm sorry, in the Goog. So that won't be one of our stops. But I'm excited to show you the Rolfs, the basketball facility. The facility they have there from a sports medicine standpoint is really state of the art. It's a beautiful beautiful facility, and it's one we can be very proud of. We're going to try and get you over to the hockey rink and see the inner workings of that facility, specifically the locker room and the training room and those type of things. And again, another state-of-the-art facility. I had debated at great length whether to include the Joyce Center Athletic Training Room as a stop on our tour. And for the longest time, I said, no, I'm not going to do it. And just recently I said, nope, we're going to do it, because so many people are going to be able to walk into that facility and say, I remember this exactly like this. And you know what? You're right. It's because it's exactly like it was. It has not changed very much at all in the last, 25 years. So not sure that's a good thing or a bad thing, but it is what it is. So yes, we are going to see those 3 facilities as of today. And that's on the docket for that weekend. And so, yes, when you come back for the reunion, you will be able to see some of those facilities.
Awesome. I can't wait. Yeah. It's funny that the Jack definitely has just not changed at all, but it's awesome. Lindsay from the class of 2011 asked, is there anything that as alumni now that we can do to help the program or support the students or the staff? Like, what can we do to help you, if at all?
Well, I think that's a really a nice gesture to make that offer. And the short answer is yes, there are some things. We've been fortunate with our student athletic trainer program to have a couple of, we've always had the Will Yergler Award, and that's been around long before I got here. And Dr. Will Yergler was a very generous orthopedic surgeon that served as our team physician for a long time. And he created a small monetary award for a senior that's graduating. That's still in existence today. His fund is still there. It's not taking any more additional contributions, but that's one of the ones that we've had for a long, long time. Chris Clevenger was a former football player from back in the early 90s, and he endowed a scholarship that we utilize today. We do have a new one. Unfortunately, if you're not aware, Big John passed away a little over a year ago, and he fought a good fight, and I'm sure he had a lot of stories to tell. And but one of the things that came of that was it was actually a former student athletic trainer started this initiative, and he created the John Whitmer Scholarship Fund. We do not have enough of it in there yet to really draw anything off. It's still in the contribution stage. So, that would be an option to do that if that's something you so desired, to contribute to the John Whitmer Scholarship Fund. That would be an option. That's really the biggest thing. The other thing that we hope to kind of cultivate a little bit is maybe a little bit better networking for our current students with our alumni. And I'm hoping with this, and hopefully, we might make this an annual thing or some sort of a routine where we do this state of the program obviously more than we have in the past. But between this, maybe next time we incorporate our current students, just a thought. But I'm hoping that when our reunion is next week, that our current students who are invited to some of these events will be there, and give them an opportunity to share some stories, and maybe do a little future networking with you. So those are the things that I'm kind of hopeful that would come from this, and that's kind of where I'm hoping that we can continue to grow and continue to improve those relationships and improve the quality for our current student athletic trainers.
There was a question from Carmen, class of 76, on head trauma in football and treatment. And I know I've looked at some photos from the football program. It seems that they have the caps on their helmets now that they were during practice. So do you have any things you can add there about where that is today and concussion protocol and things like that?
Well, we could spend hours discussing the concussion topic that we live in these days. And, the hard, sad truth is that, the lengths that we were going to today were not in place a long time ago. And there's a lot of individuals who are dealing with that lack of knowledge. Um, but from what we're doing currently, what we've been doing for many years, and we continue to evolve in that area. Obviously, it's a critical part of the healthcare concerns that we have on a daily basis, um, and there's a lot of research going on out there. We're not involved directly with the research, but we do obviously keep up on that type of thing. The biggest thing that we do is creating a baseline testing, so that when there is a questionable concussion, then we have adequate data to give us more hard facts that yes, this person is definitely concussed. And that puts us into a protocol situation, and there's multiple steps of that protocol. So that's critical. And the caps that you referred to are called Guardian caps, and they are just basically a pad that fits over the helmet. I don't think it has not really been proven to be a game changer. There is some validity behind some of the early studies with it, and I think there is some validity to it, and some benefits from it. But as we've learned over the course of years of studying these type things, that it's not the direct blow to the helmet or the head that causes it. It's the rebound effect of the brain inside the skull. So that is really, really tough to eliminate. And that's one of the things that's always, a goal. And I don't know that it'll be achievable, but it's not going to be for lack of looking, that's for sure. So, but so it's not a mandatory thing. The NFL, I think, made it mandatory for teams in training camp last year. We just make it as an option. If you want to wear it, you can. We don't have enough hard, fast data to say that it's definitely going to make a difference, but obviously it's not going to hurt you. So take advantage of the opportunity if you like. And I'm guessing we probably have close to 25, 30 guys maybe wear it currently, so it's, there's enough awareness on our team of guys who are at least aware of those type of things, and they're not thinking they're invincible. So they do take advantage of the opportunities. There's several other, equipment things out there, the Q collars, if you're familiar with those, that supposedly are can eliminate, or not eliminate, but reduce the severity of concussions. And again, all of it is kind of, there's just not enough data to say, yes, this is the magic bullet. This is the one that really moves the needle. So I think they're not hurting, and they may be helping a little bit. So, we're going to keep running these out and trying them and seeing if we can make it better.
Mike had a question about your Takeo brace, and how you created it, and the plans are moving forward. And for people who don't know, Takeo is the brace that Bean created. He named it after his daughters, Taylor and Courtney. So can you give us an update on the Takeo brace?
Well, I don't want to get too much into that, take too much time from our main topic here, but thanks for the question. And it's an ankle brace I created several years ago. I think we're probably about 11 years ago I started. I created it, and from then until today, I'm part owner of a company, Takeo Incorporated, and we have a couple different versions of the brace. And what started out as simply an appliance that I was hoping to put on a football player to get him through a game has matriculated into an appliance that is really benefiting a lot of society. a lot more than I ever envisioned when I started that process. And some of you probably remember Dr. Fred Furlick, one of our former orthopedic surgeons. He's been the impetus behind this whole movement. And so with the help of the university, I applied for a patent. It took about 6.5 years, but we finally did get the patent. But Dr. Furlick had just recently retired and was interested in starting a startup company, and it kind of all fell into place. And the next thing you know, we have Keiko Incorporated, and we're mass producing this appliance, and it's serving. We're working with the military. We're serving, paratroopers who are training. Military people are trying to get back to their training. Workman's comp patients, the elderly are benefiting from it immensely, and the average Joe. So it's been a really heartwarming and a fun ride. It's not to say it's not a little stressful at times, but it's been a nice surprise, and it's been what I thought I was just kind of a whim at the beginning has turned into something kind of special. So, but thanks for asking, though.
Yeah, awesome. And congrats on the success there. And I think we can all say we're excited to see that grow and flourish. So that's really, really great success for you. A question from Jack, a 71 grad. Can you talk a little bit about the trainers working with the track team? How many assigned are on a daily basis or go to meets with the team? And maybe too, I know when I was a trainer, we kind of, took over, some had volleyball, some had soccer, some had cross country. And I think there was one other sport too that I can't remember, but can you talk about, if you're assigning trainers to different teams?
Well, track and cross country is, it's a pretty demanding job just because of the sheer volume of athletes you have there. So, we've been fortunate enough. We've been able to hire a really good dual credential professional. She's a certified athletic trainer and a physical therapist, and that's her main job, is to deal with the track and cross country teams. We allow her to get a physical therapy student that comes in and helps her through the spring to kind of help with the workload. We have another one of our full-time staff members who helps her kind of in her off season. So we really have like 1.5 staff people taking care of the track and cross country team, in addition to the PT student that we have. So, our students assist like we do most sports, which is working in one of the 2 facilities, either the Guglielmino building or the Joyce Center, where track's usually working out of. So our students will assist our staff, and whatever their needs are within reason. Obviously our parameters of responsibility and their capabilities of our student athletic trainers are pretty well defined, but under the direction and observation of our staff, they can help out. So we do help with every track meet. So the Mayo Mile and the Alex Wilson meets are well covered and well represented by the student athletic trainer group. So, but it is a big challenge because of the number of kids that are in that sport. So, but we feel pretty comfortable, and again, our students are a big part of helping maintain that care.
And then one more question I have here, and then I think if others have questions, feel free to put them in the chat or speak up. But may have touched a little bit on this, but do you have your favorite career moments at Notre Dame? Do you have a favorite game? Are there any that really stick out to you?
You know what? That's really a tough question, and I've been so blessed to have a lot of really, really great experiences, either directly at Notre Dame or because of Notre Dame. I can't say one game really stands out as being the number one game. The Florida State game in '92 was really pretty special. The national championship game was pretty special, except for the outcome, obviously. But some of the opportunities that I've had, to travel abroad with the different sports teams. I've been to Switzerland. I've been to Ireland. Will be my 3rd trip this coming August. We've been to just about every state in the country. One of the most rewarding and most gratifying things that I can relate to is I was really fortunate to get the chance to work with Team USA baseball a few years back, and that only became a possibility because of my Notre Dame connection. The former baseball coach at Notre Dame, who was at LSU at the time, was named the coach of that Team USA, and we spent the better part of a month with some of the most memorable times and memorable opportunities to represent the country, and that's definitely right up there, top 2 or 3 easily. So there's been so many games, and you work 350 some days a year for the opportunity to work those 12 games a year in football, and it's every one of them special and memorable. Some of them are memorable in not a very good way, but they're still memorable. So it's just the entire experience and the entire opportunities I've been afforded to being here at Notre Dame for 33 years is really hard to put into words what the top one would be, and to really encompass the luck that I've had to be able to experience what I've experienced here.
So we have Jane, 83 grad, who was the first female SAT ever at Notre Dame, which is so cool that you're here, Jane. And so she was asking Bean about the gender diversity of professionals and the SAT staff, and just commenting too on how exciting it is that there's representation of women in the profession.
You know what? I mean, it's been really awesome, and I know currently on our current staff, of all of our student athletic trainers we have on staff right now, I only have 2 males. The rest are all female. So they're well represented in our current student staff. And you know what? I wouldn't trade any of them for anybody. So it's, and the gender equality thing is has not been anything but a blessing for what we do. Their compassion and their commitment to what our mission is second to none. So, and our staff, we're quite diversified. I'd have to think and count for sure, but I know that we're probably just a shade under half or right at half of our 19 or 18 people are females. So, like I said, it's, we all work together. Although my primary responsibility is football, we'll share knowledge. We'll spend time with the female sports and assistant in a special brace manufacturing, or some sort of a specialty we may know. So there's a lot of interaction between our staff, regardless of gender. But it's great to be able to have the diversity that we do and been afforded to serve our student athletes.
Someone asked, you may not know this, but can you estimate how many student athletic trainers went on to medical fields, or becoming doctors, physical therapists, nurses? Do you think most of them do, or do you have an idea?
You know what? I was just, it's funny you mentioned that, because I just, the only reference I really have of our roster of student athletic trainers, in fact, I have it here. It goes back to 1987, is as far back as my records go. And I know there's well past that, but from 87 on, I was just looking at that the other day, and I was trying to figure out, how many of them are actually in the healthcare field. And there's so many that I'm not sure where they are these days, but it's a fair assessment that probably 2/3 of our students that we get each year are, at least at the time that they're with us, are in some sort of a pre-med or pre-healthcare educational venue. It's, at this day and age, everybody's looking for their advantage to get into med school and to enhance their education. And so, we provide we try to provide as many opportunities as we can for those kids who are in that field, whether it's shadowing our orthopedic surgeons or shadowing our primary care docs or one of our general surgeons. So we're really trying to be as enhance their experience as much as we can. So, but to give you a specific number, gosh, I don't know. I really don't know. I know I can count through the list and find out probably, 20, 25 that I know for a fact are in the medical field someplace. I was just looking through the total number here. So since I've been in charge of them, we've had about 220 student athletic trainers that were part of the program at some point, whether they went the full 4 years through it, or they, maybe they went 2 years and quit, whatever. But there was 220 of them that I've been exposed to and worked with. Of those 220, I would guess probably close to half are probably in the medical field at some point or in some fashion. But again, without knowing, where people are exactly these days, I guess I can't give you a definitive answer on that one.
Try to get to a couple more here in the interest of time. But Dana is asking about funny stories that you can share. I know when I was in SAT, there were so many funny times. I mean, so many embarrassing stories too. I mean, I remember one time I was doing multiple like 5 a.m. practices every single day, and I was just really, really tired that I showed up with like my retainer still in my mouth, like about to go on the football field to practice. But do you have any like funny stories that you just want to share, reminisce on?
Man, again, without calling anybody out, which I definitely could do, but I won't. Carry Caro, so I won't call anybody out. But again, there's been so many. There's been so many times when, and that's one of the beauty of what our program's about is, when it's time to work, it's knuckle down and let's get the job done, and you got to be locked in. But with our job, it's all right. We got to get everybody ready, and then they go to meetings or they go to whatever, and there's a downtime, for an hour, a half hour, 45 minutes, an hour and a half, whatever, before you got to actually go out on the field. And so some of the things and some of the antics and some of the whatever you want to call it that students used to do or still do to kill time is it can be quite comical. Some of which I definitely will not repeat on this link here. But to remember one specific thing, gosh, now I can remember one. It was comical to me, and I'm not going to name the student, but when we travel with football, we have these obviously these big trunks that we carry our supplies with and on the road trips, and he was a relatively new student, and I asked him to, hey, can you go over and get inside that trunk? I needed something out of it. And so he goes over and he kind of disappears for a little while, and nothing. And finally I kind of head back over there and I'm looking, and he's standing in front of the trunk. The trunk's still closed, and he's got his hands on his hips, and he's completely befuddled. And I'm going, what is going on here? So I go over and I said, dude, what's the deal? He goes, yeah, I got nothing. I can't figure out how to open this damn thing. So that was a pretty amusing one for me at that point. So, and one that I can tell in mixed company. So, but like I said, that's part of the job. It's really enjoyable is some of the lighter moments and some of the downtime that you spend, and you get to get a real sense of kind of what people are really made about when they let their hair down and be a little bit relaxed and off, in their downtime. So, but I couldn't name one specific one.
Well, I think that's a really good and fun note to end on. I know we try to get to a lot of questions, but it was really great to hear about all of the things going on with the program, how a lot of things have changed, but also a lot of things that stayed the same. The antics are still going on. The jack is still the same as it is. So it's great to hear all those updates. But I guess last thing, any, things that we need to know or keep our eyes out for the reunion coming up, or should we just, be checking our emails for that?
Yeah, I think, the Monogram Club's has done a great job with kind of coordinating all this. And obviously they do this on a regular basis. And We haven't done it in a long time, obviously. So I think they will be in communication with you through email, just kind of with the final itinerary of things, which hopefully we'll have finalized here in the next week or so. I hope everybody can be here. We'll take advantage and come on over. It's really great to see, old student athletic trainers, and they come in with their families and, their doctors or whatever. And it's really nice to see people that, you spend some time hopefully educating and hopefully, helping them grow through their experience at Notre Dame. And it's really been really fun to see people come back. So I hope we get a good turnout for it. I know we will. If I'm not sure how often we'll do this, I'm pretty sure that the next reunion, I probably will not be in charge of it at that point in time, but who knows? You never know. So, but please, don't hesitate to reach out to myself when you're back on campus for a game or something. Sometimes some weekends are better than others, but I'll do my best to at least pop out and say hello and reminisce a little bit and laugh and see how much everybody's families are growing. So, but look forward to seeing everybody in the end of April. And like I said, please keep in touch. Let me know if I can do anything to help you. Kind of keep your Monogram Club stat information up to date. So if I need to reach out to you, we'd have a contact point to reach to you. So, but thanks everybody for joining tonight, and hope it was well worth your time. It was enjoyable for me to visit with you a little bit. I know we kind of went through the logistics of what sports medicine is looking like these days, but hopefully we can get into it a little bit more in detail at the reunion. So thanks for everybody.
Thank you, Bean. Thank you, Sean. Thank you, Matt. Thank you, everyone, for being here. This is awesome.
Great. Thanks, Sarah. Appreciate your time.
Thank you.